Hello, this is Wanda Holt, and I would like to share with you my testimony. My mother started attending the Grace Place when I was a toddler. My father was not a Christian and did not go to church. I loved going to church and learning about Jesus. During vacation Bible school, I went forward and knelt at the altar to ask Jesus into my heart. I was 6 years old. Since our church did not have a baptism tank, I was baptized at New Hope Baptist Church when I was about 9 years old. My mother was a woman of the Word and was my Sunday school teacher during my middle years. I sang in the choir as soon as they would let me, and I performed in Christmas and Easter pageants. I was active in the youth program. Anita Hayes and Sue Loftus were my leaders. I attended Camp Overton when my parents could afford to send me. The summer before my senior year of high school, I prayed for a Christian mate, more specifically, a Christian Church of God mate. 3 years later, I met Jerry Holt at the Grace Place while his parents were visiting our pastor, who had been their pastor in East Tennessee. We were married 21 months later in 1971. We moved to Cookeville, where he was still in college. We attended the Cookeville Church of God, where again I sang in the choir. I attended women's meetings, where I was by far the youngest woman there. I attended church, Sunday school, Wednesday nights, and we even helped with the youth. One Sunday night, a heritage pastor of the Church of God, Reverend James T. Hooten, preached, and he used Jerry and I as an example of true love during his sermon. Afterwards, he clasped his hands in his trademark way and said, "I gave you a bouquet, didn't I?" After Jerry graduated from Tennessee Tech, we moved to Greenville, Tennessee, in Upper East Tennessee, Jerry's hometown, where he had gotten a teaching job. The first Sunday, we went to Cedar Creek Church of God, where his brother and sister-in-law attended. We ended up staying there for 30 years. I sang in the choir, taught Sunday school, was a VBS director, was local women's president, president of the East Tennessee Women's Group, and sat on a national board of the Women of the Church of God. I was on the board of trustees and signed the note for a major church expansion, which was paid off in 2019, the same year that they burned the note at the Grace Place. Soon after we moved to Greenville, my father became convicted of his need of the Lord during the night. He and my ever faithful mom knelt by the side of their bed, and he gave his heart to the Lord. He taught the Sunday school class at the Grace Place for many years. Life was good. Then in 2000, suddenly, for no reason and with no warning, my head exploded. I didn't know what was happening to me. Jerry was already asleep, and I did not want to wake him. In the pain, all I could pray was, "Lord, you've got to help me." I propped myself up and lay there in the dark in excruciating pain for a couple of hours. I felt God say to me, "If you don't get up from here, He's going to find you dead in the morning." So I woke Jerry up, and he rushed me to the small local hospital. I had had a subarachnoid brain hemorrhage. Most people are not able to make it to the hospital alive, and many do not survive after arriving at the hospital. My healing was in response to my years of faith. The simple faith of that 6-year-old girl and the teenager who moved away from her parents and all the family that she loved with the love of her life, and then the young mother who prayed for her dad and her kids. That's the woman that God healed. I didn't need a lot of fancy words. My God had always been faithful to me, and He was there again. In 2003, when Jerry retired, or as I like to call it, graduated, from 30 years in education, we moved to Hermitage, my hometown, and we started attending the Grace Place. At the time, both of our daughters lived in Nashville area and went to church at the Grace Place. My mom and dad were still alive and also attended the Grace Place. My brother and sister attended and still do. My brother plays lead guitar in the praise band, and my sister runs video in the Crow's Nest. I've sung in the choir. I've sang on praise team. I've taught Sunday school. I've performed drama for BVS. I've been small groups director, and for 7 years, I wrote the small groups weekly curriculum. As you can see, God has been faithful to me. And the things that I have done for Him are just a small outpouring of that. He has never left me. He has never forsaken me since I was a small girl, and He's still with me to this day. I hope that my testimony is an encouragement to you to remain faithful to your God. Amen.